Hello, listeners of Good Morning BSS World podcast. This is Wiktor, Doktor, and today I am connecting with you directly from the heart of Georgia, from the heart of Tbilisi, which is the capital of this country, just to give you a couple of insights from the very interesting trip which I am now participating at. This trip is the BPO Summit, which is organized by Enterprise Georgia in partnership with Ryan Strategic Advisory, and the purpose of this meeting is actually to get familiar with how the BPO environment and ITO environment looks like in Georgia. So, I am the only one representative of Poland who came here, but there are also other experts, other market influencers and analysts who came here from various parts of the world. I will tell you about that in a second, but I will start with something like this. So, first of all, there was a huge risk that none of the podcasts would be recorded from this trip. Why? Well, the answer is quite simple. The hotel where we are staying, actually, when I started to record my first podcast in the hotel lobby, told me that it is impossible to record in the public area of the hotel. Well, sometimes such things happen, and I fully understand where in the background there are other people or some characteristic points, but the place which I have chosen actually to record this podcast was very neutral. But anyway, I do respect this what the hotel said, so there was no podcast recorded in the public space. So I try to do it from my room, the room where I am staying. I hope this what will be the result of this podcast will be well visible for you, for those who you are watching this podcast via YouTube, but for those who are just the listeners on Spotify or any other podcasting platforms, probably the video is less important than audio, which you are now listening to. So let's move a little bit to this what I have collected for this first episode from Georgia. Why the first? The first because I want to have like an entry episode to this what is going to follow afterwards. My idea for the talks directly organized from Georgia or after the Georgia visit is like that, to have at least 2, 3, maybe 4 episodes where there will be talks to people who participated within this visit, just to get the bigger scope of this what we have found out. So this first episode I have titled Talks from Georgia, Georgia Calling. So just to give you very brief introduction to this what you can expect in the upcoming episodes, and of course some data which I will share today. So from the very beginning, the business BPO trip to Tbilisi, as I mentioned, is organized by Enterprise Georgia in partnership with Ryan Strategic Advisory. Ryan Strategic Advisory is a well-known organization who is analyzing business destinations worldwide. Peter Ryan, who is the CEO of this organization, is actively analyzing the whole world when it comes to find out where are and what are the conditions for the development, growth and existence of the BPO industry. So this time it is already, I think, third or fourth trip to Georgia, which Peter is supporting Enterprise Georgia to be organized, but this is the first one which I am attending at. I was supposed to be here like a year or 2 years ago, but at that time other things actually appeared, so I couldn't join this trip. This time I managed to do so, and I am very happy I could do that. Why? Because there are few reasons of that. The first and the most important, of course, is to get familiar with how Georgia is prepared to support the BPO and IT industry. But the second, which probably is less obvious but also important, is that because within this business trip there are representatives of various companies who are BPO providers, BPO advisors, BPO analysts, it also creates a lot of opportunities to find out what is happening in the countries or in the areas where those people are coming from. So just to give you really brief information, those people came from US, Canada, Jamaica, UK, Ghana, Poland, Bulgaria, Romania and Albania. So as you can see, both from Northern America but also the European countries, and each of them has a little bit different purpose of being in here. Those who are representing BPO companies are trying to find out if Georgia is a good place for them to develop. Those who are the market analysts are looking for some extra information to just repair or upgrade the information about Georgia as the business destination and just use this information in their further works. So first of all, this summit, these meetings which are organized in here, this was a huge logistics, I would say, exercise, because having people from so many countries in one place coming for 3 days, to be honest, of meetings, it is not so simple. The flights are the flights. People were coming from various destinations, so the logistics was quite a big challenge. But anyway, everyone arrived within 2 days. So starting from Sunday evening, we were already in one group and then started to have, first of all, cultural meetings, just getting introduced to each other, and then it is going to be followed. I am saying that it is going to be followed because this is starting today. So on the day when I am recording this podcast, with more, let's say, informative meetings. So today we have full day packed with meetings with various market experts, but I will share this information later on. So let me take to my notes what I do have to share for today. So yes, about those meetings. So the meetings are going to be with the representatives of the government, Enterprise Georgia, but also HR agencies, real estate agencies, co-working spaces, and many other representatives who are going to share the information from their area of experience. So I do expect that after 2-3 days spent in Georgia, I should have very wide and complete information about how the BPO and IT environment looks like within this country. And when we do talk about this country, so few interesting information. So first of all, we are in Georgia. Georgia is a republic, and it is located in the border between Europe and Asia. And you can see it. You can see the European, let's say, elements within this country, but also the Asian one. So who are the neighbors of Georgia? So those are Russia, Armenia, Turkey, and Azerbaijan. So those are the countries which are surrounding Georgia, but also there is also Black Sea. So very nice city of Batumi actually is located very close to the Black Sea. I was there 2 years ago. If you want to find out how the Georgian Riviera looks like, so Batumi probably is the best place to go. But today we are in Tbilisi, and Tbilisi is the capital of this country, where there are 1.2 million people living. Is it a lot or is it not a lot comparing to the whole country of Georgia? Well, the whole Georgia, according to Eurostat from 2023, has, let me check that, 3.7 million people. So 1.2 versus 3.7, it means that Tbilisi actually is quite a significant location when it comes to number of inhabitants living in Georgia. Okay, what else are the things? The language is Georgian, but my experience is that wherever I went to the city, people were actually very fluent in English. Doesn't matter if those were tourist points, if those were cafes, or it was just on the street. Wherever I was asking some questions on the street, people were very good in English. So the communication here is quite well. Probably not everywhere, but actually my feelings are very comfortable, and I felt very good within this communicating with people who I have met on the streets. But how to get to Tbilisi? What are the destinations which are being connected with direct connections via the Tbilisi airport? So I came directly from Warsaw. This is a very short flight. It is 3 hours 10 minutes actually to go from the heart of Warsaw to the heart of Tbilisi, and this is a very pleasant flight. So those are not the only one destinations, of course, supported. Poland is not the only one country connected with Tbilisi. Actually, this is a very interesting airport because here you can get both from Europe, from Asia, but also from Russia, which for today is not so obvious actually to be connected to. So the full list, I don't know if I have the full list, but I have collected the information about the main destinations which are directly connected with Tbilisi airport, and those are, besides Poland of course, this is Turkey, Emirates, Russia, Israel, Uzbekistan, Saudi Arabia, Italy, Kuwait, Qatar, UK, Belarus, Switzerland, Germany. And most of the guests of the BPO Summit came here via Germany or via Dubai or via Poland. So those were the main connections of people who are participating in 2025 BPO Summit in Tbilisi. And I guess that for the intro talk for this, let's say, first connection to Georgia, it would be it. So I will leave some space for the next episode, where it is going to be recorded after the first day of business meetings with representatives of those various institutions which I mentioned in the beginning of this podcast. And I am more than sure I will share with you more valuable information about how to do BPO business in Georgia. For the moment, thank you very much. I hope the quality of this recording was not so bad and it inspired you to listen to another episodes which I'm going to share in the next few days. Thank you very much. Talk to you later.